Welcome to the Content 10X Podcast, the show where content creators learn how to harness the power of content repurposing. And now, your host, Amy Woods.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Content 10X Podcast. I'm your host, Amy Woods, and in this week's episode, I'm talking all about bloopers, so the outtakes of our videos. And most importantly, it's about not throwing those bloopers away and saving them for repurposing. So to be clear, what I mean by blooper, well, a blooper being a short video clip where someone made a mistake. So it's the footage that you would expect to be deleted. But you can use your bloopers, admittedly, by definition, they're not likely to be used for the reason that you were filming for because it's some kind of mistake, but then they can be used in other ways. So people love to see other people make mistakes and they love these video outtakes. Look at the popularity of TV shows like Auntie's Bloomers and It'll Be Alright on the Night. Basically, lots of different clips of the outtakes and bloopers of our favourite TV shows. And this is just gold, you know, really, really popular. People love it. And I think we like it because we get to see in those shows, famous actors making mistakes. So it's people who we normally have quite high on a pedestal. We think they're, great, and you don't tend to see the mistakes that they would make because everything is just so perfect in TV shows and films. So it's great when you see this kind of content because firstly, it's just funny. But secondly, we love it because it shows a human side to people we often only ever see that kind of perfect side. So other examples of bloopers are when you go to, for example, movies, and if you stick around sometimes during the closing credits, they show the outtakes of the film, and this can be really fun as well. I personally like to kind of stick around and see all of that because it just makes me laugh. So this is an idea for you in terms of if you create video content, then you could recycle your bloopers and your outtakes as well. Don't be really quick to just edit them out, delete them and disregard them. One, as I mentioned, because it's funny and it will entertain people. And two, because it shows you're human. It shows that you're good-natured as well and you don't take yourself too seriously. And it seems like at the moment there's a lot of criticism online, this whole kind of Insta-fake world, what with things like the Netflix documentary on the Fire Festival, where this highlighted people spending lots of money based on fake and misleading content on Instagram. I mean, obviously there's a big story to do with Fire. It's not just all about fake content on Instagram, but it did highlight, again, a lot of people complaining about just the fake world of social media in general and not believing what you see and all of that. So a big spotlight on that. So things like sharing bloopers and outtakes and the human side of you is all really, really good content and content that people love to see. Here are some ideas. If you create video content and you do have some of those bloopers, here are 3 things that you could do. Number 1, you could do what the movies do and actually just put them at the end of your final video. So you would show your video, maybe have your closing, credit, title, call to action, and then pop in some of the outtakes and then again end with the call to action as well. But just put a little bit of fun at the end. So that can be great. I've actually seen it where people put a blooper or outtake, whatever you want to call it, at the start as well. But basically incorporating some of it into the main video that the bloopers came from. Another idea is just to edit them out completely, create a separate file with just that outtake, just that blooper, and then share those clips just on their own on social media. So just do a tweet or a Facebook post, Instagram post where you just share these funny outtakes. And it's great to do that because when you do that, you can let people know what it's an outtake of and that there's a new video coming out and what that's about. So you can also kind of promote your content in a really fun way by sharing some of the outtakes. And then thirdly, create a blooper show reel. So bring lots of bloopers together and just create one single reel of bloopers. So that can be really funny. And again, when you have that video with lots of different clips of your outtakes, you can use that as a standalone piece of content of just entertaining content that you can share on social or on your website, on YouTube. Just funny, brings out the human side. And again, you can let people know the content that this came from, so it can promote your content as well and get people interested in seeing the final result and the final video. So the key takeaway for this episode is don't throw away those mistakes, don't disregard them, keep them in your repurposing arsenal, because you can use even your bloopers and your mistakes to create really great, fun and engaging content. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Content 10x podcast. If you want any help with your content repurposing, then at Content 10x, my creative agency, we specialise in helping people to repurpose their content by offering an end-to-end content repurposing service. So if that interests you, then go over to content10x.com and check us out there. And also, please do follow me on social media. And very importantly, if you enjoy this podcast, please do subscribe, and if you know anybody that you think would enjoy it, then please let them know as well. Cool, so thank you for listening, I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next episode.